SRC for a mutual season opener. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hilltop. This is Don Clegg, happy to be joined in the broadcast booth by a pair of outstanding student athletes from our WLU Acrobatics and Tumbling team. Savannah Smith is a sophomore base from Pennsboro, West Virginia, while Kiara Smith, no relation, is a sophomore base from Toronto, Ohio. A lot of excitement inside the SRC tonight, Savannah. Great crowd. What's the mood of the team coming into tonight's season opener after so many months of practice?
Well, the girls have been practicing since the beginning of the year. We've had a lot of injuries, a lot of girls that are redshirting, but I think after all that, they've all come together, and I think they're really excited and really prepared for this meet tonight.
Awesome. Kiara, I see a lot of familiar names on the West Liberty roster this season from last year. Who are some of the outstanding individuals you think we should keep an eye on tonight?
I would say some of the outstanding individuals would be Marina Scalia, number 6, and Olivia Miller. This is her first time competing this season after an injury last season. And we have some great freshmen that are here that we should keep an eye out for, like Jillian Parts and Avery Ray.
Awesome, and we roll right into competition. The Bobcats are on the mat. First event of the evening of the compulsories. We start with the acro, and they're midway through. And West Virginia Wesleyan completes their first compulsory acro heat. Next up in compulsory acro will be the Hilltoppers of West Liberty University. Getting last-minute instructions from head coach Kelsey Kyle. While we're waiting for the judges to go through that, Savannah, what did you think of Wesleyan's first routine there?
It started out very strong until the very end of the switch up. I'm sorry, I can't even think of it. And when that she bobbled a bit, so that just might be a little bit deductions, but other than that, it was very good.
Does anybody really understand the scoring system here?
I think we got this as that's the starting.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a good point there, Kiara. Is these are all the compulsory events have a start value of 10.0. That's assigned from the NCATA. So you don't have any options as far as the different things you want to do. Everybody has to do the same routine. And the judges still working on their scores from West Virginia Wesleyan's opening heat. You know, one thing we've noticed about acrobatics and tumbling in recent years is that there's a lot of hurry up and wait.
Oh yeah.
You know, now obviously it's kind of a struggle for broadcasters, but what's it like on the sidelines?
On the sidelines, it's very nerve-wracking. You're just waiting, like very excited to go out, and you just can't yet.
Oh. And finally, here are the Hilltoppers out on the mat for their first action of the 2022 season. Kiara, they seem pretty happy with their first action. What did you think?
I think it was very good. Like Savannah said with Wesleyan, there was a little bobble in the switch up, which will be a little deduction. But other than that, it looked very well. Very good.
Turn all the way straight.
Okay, well, actually, we rushed into this start of the meet a little bit ahead of schedule, so we'll take care of a little housekeeping right now. The acrobatics and tumbling is an emerging sport at the NCAA level, and it's fairly new to most of us. It's administered by the National Collegiate Athletic Acrobatics and Tumbling Association. So an NCATA meet is a team competition that consists of 6 events. You've already seen the first heat in the compulsory event. Now, there are 3 heats in compulsories, followed by the pyramid of the acro event, and then the pyramid event, and then we'll have a 15-minute halftime. Now, after we get through halftime, there's the toss event, the tumbling event, and the team event. And if you've never seen an acrobatics and tumbling meet before, you don't want to miss the team event. That is organized madness, and it's really impressive to see that many athletes on the mat. So, but anyway, running scores kept throughout the meet, and obviously the team with the most points at the end of all 6 events is the winner. So we'll take you through the compulsory event. There's 4 heats. There's an acro heat, a pyramid heat, a toss heat, and a tumbling heat. Now the skills for the compulsory event represent the basic skills of the sport of acrobatics and tumbling. Now in this event, each team executes the same skills to allow for direct comparison by the judges. Each heat begins with a starting value of 10 assigned by the NCATA, and officials are focusing on execution, body positions, and stability of structures. So they're still working on the scores from that first heat. We're standing here waiting for the pyramid event, or the pyramid. I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing. We are waiting for the pyramid heat. Kiara, just talk briefly about when did you guys actually begin practice this year?
It was honestly like the first week of school. Like the first week of August, Kelsey met with us all, and we started morning cardios, morning lifts, and as well as practicing in the evening too. So they've been really excited, working very hard the whole fall semester as well as the beginning of this semester too.
Wow. And West Virginia Wesleyan takes the mat for their pyramid heat. Okay, while the judges are putting together the scores for West Virginia Wesleyan on that heat, we will step aside for a very quick break. You're watching Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. Kiara, you have some information for us about a change.
Yes, this compulsory pyramid is actually new this season. Last season they had 2 girls on top of shoulders and then another girl on top in an inversion. But this year they changed it so that the girls can make this pyramid difficult as the meet goes along. So throughout the meet we'll see girls on back bends doing a similar pyramid.
So do you think the change made it harder or easier?
I think the change, it was difficult to adjust to, but now that they have got it, it looks a lot easier for them. And there's less people out on the mat for this pyramid, whereas the last one you had 2 girls doing the shoulder sit, and then 2 girls on top, and then 1 girl on top of her with also 2 catchers. And you had 2 groups too.
Okay. So after looking at the two pyramids that we saw tonight, what were your impressions of both teams?
I think both teams did really well. They're starting off the meet very strong, so I think it's going to be a competitive meet with how they've been doing their events out there. I'm excited to see how the meet goes, though, with all the... I like watching the tumbling and the tosses. That's like my favorite part of the meet, so I'm excited to get to that part.
Okay. All right, well, while we're waiting for the scores to be compiled here, we'll take another quick break. We'll step aside from the ASRC. You're watching Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we're back just in time for West Virginia Wesleyan, who's on the mat now for their compulsory toss heat. What do you think there, Savannah?
That was a really good heat. There was no movement. The height was really good. Synchronization was amazing. I think that's going to get a very high score.
And who are the girls from West Liberty that are on this event?
We have Abby, Katie, Anna, Lindsay, Tiana. And then for group 2, we have Marina, Chloe, Angelina, another Abby, and then Paige.
Okay, can you help me out with last names?
Yes, so we have Abby Bauer, Abby Horvath, Marina Scalia, Chloe Palmer, Angelina Cruz America, Katie Amborski, Anna Snodderly, Lindsay Fries, Tiana Myers, and Paige McLaughlin.
Well, you're good. Half the time I can't remember my name.
There's a lot of girls on the team, too, so it's very hard.
Yes, I noticed that when I printed out the rosters for tonight's match, that West Liberty took almost the whole page, and Wesleyan, which is not really a small team compared to, I was here when this sport started, 3 or 4 years ago,
yep.
And we had teams come in here that didn't have enough people to compete in the team event, and Wesleyan's not a small team by any means, and they're barely past halfway down the page.
We have definitely got a lot more girls since West Lib has started the acrobatics and tumbling.
So does that create any issues in practice? I mean, it's a big mat, but it's not that big.
I don't think so. I think the girls get along very well, especially for being a big team. You think a lot of girls would be a lot of drama, but not on our team.
Well, anytime you can escape the drama, that's always a plus.
Yeah.
And don't tell anybody. We had that on guys' teams too. So we're still waiting for West Liberty's to be moved onto the mat, and I think they're getting their call now. So here are the Hilltoppers with their compulsory toss heat.
About that one.
I would say to the untrained eye, that looked pretty good.
It was really good. Once again, it was just like Wesleyan, so it's going to be very eye to eye on this event.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the scoring shakes out on this. I was doing a little research before the match, and Kelsey, this is her 3rd year as a head coach.
Yes.
And she's 6-4 in duels, and 3 of the 4 losses were to top 10 ranked teams. And the only unranked team that has beaten West Liberty while she was a head coach was her first match against West Virginia Wesleyan. So, and I'm sure that she doesn't even think about that tonight, but
nope.
That's just trivia time from a former newspaper guy. So we've got time here. We'll take another break. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And here is West Virginia Wesleyan to wrap up their compulsory event with their tumbling heat. 8 student athletes on the mat for the Bobcats. Well, what'd you think, Kiara?
I thought it was good. Usually in this event, the judges look for their legs and feet together, no steps or any movement on any landings and synchronization, which I think Wesleyan really exhibited those.
And I've always wondered this. I never thought to ask. The last pass where they go the length of the mat and they're separating 2 rows, are you trying to stay within those rows, or does that not matter?
No, it doesn't matter. Usually some girls have longer steps when they run, as long as it's synced, like they do their round off and sync and their back handspring and then the layout and they land at the same time. That's really the only
So it's
thing.
the timing as opposed to the, because I wondered that exact same thing, because you've got some kids that are like 5'1", 5'2", and you get a 5'8" or 5'9".
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're waiting now for the final heat of the opening compulsory event. West Liberty will be coming out on the mat. And who are some of the top performers for the Hilltoppers in this event?
Honestly, all 8 of them are really good tumblers. Kelsey likes to pick our top that look the same and can, like the layout is a really big part. She likes them to look not the exact same because they're all different, but very similar so that they don't get any points or that many points taken off. I would say Marina Scalia and Teresa Evangelista, they're very, very good tumblers, and they've been a very essential part of the team for as long as they have been here.
Oh, absolutely. Returning all conference individuals. I think Marina was a conference champion last year, if I recall.
Yes, she was.
So that's always nice to have the returning veterans with accolades.
And in this event, we actually have out of the 8, 6 of them are returners. We have 2 freshmen in this event too.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to people, and I have a hard time grasping it, the attention to the minute details in this sport. And you talk about like hand position and different things that, and here come the Hilltoppers. Well, what'd you think, Kiara?
I thought it was pretty good. I did see a few bobbles, which would be a tiny deduction, but other than that, it looked really good.
Okay, well, that completes our first event, and we'll take a short break now while the judges pull together the combined scores, but we'll be right back with the first official results of the evening. You're watching Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference. Okay, and we're back already on the mat for the Acro event is West Virginia Wesleyan. And this is the first heat of the Acro event. It's the 5-element heat. 3 individuals on the mat for the Bobcats. They did announce the scores after the first heat, but we're at a little bit of a remote location up here on the track above the arena floor and couldn't quite make out the numbers. We will make every effort to get those scores to you as quickly as we can. What were your thoughts on the Bobcats there with the first, actually optional action of the evening?
I think they did a very well job. It's very strategic for these elements too, because you get to choose what you put out there, and each one has a different scoring. So ours starts out with a 10, and I believe theirs might actually start out as a 10 as well.
And that's not all that common, because I remember when we first started this, that a lot of the start values were 9.4, 9.5 and stuff. But that was one thing that Coach Kyle has always talked about, is she wants to have the highest start values that she can. And
she surely gets there.
Yes, she does. So, anyway, the acro event is the beginning of the optional portion of the meet, as we alluded to. Each team competes with skills that are previously chosen with different possible start values. You'll have between 2 and 4 athletes on the floor for each of the 3 heats. Heat 1 has 5 elements, Heat 2 has 6 elements, and Heat 3 has 7 elements. So we're already through Wesleyan's first heat with the 5-element heat, and waiting now for the Hilltoppers to take the mat for their 5-element heat.
And for this element, we have Marina Scalia, Paige McLaughlin, Katie Amborski, and then Chloe Palmer is the counter. And for the skills for West Liberty, Paige will throw Marina in a 180 to shoulders. Marina will do a half around to change directions. She will then do a back full off of Paige with Katie catching her, and then Marina will do an inversion on Katie and Paige. A lot of things going on in this one.
Yes.
That was a very good catch right there.
It was. What'd you think?
Well, there were some bobbles, so there are going to be a little bit of deductions, but other than that, I thought it went very well.
And again, the start value was 10 on that, so.
And our school record for that is actually 9.75.
Yeah, we set quite a few school records last year.
Yes, we did.
Oh, and there we have our scores posted from the opening heat. And the compulsory heat in the acro heat, or the compulsory event, the acro heat, West Liberty 8.45, Wesleyan 8.6. In the pyramid, it was West Liberty 8.8, Wesleyan 9.1. In the toss, 9.45 for the Hilltoppers, 8.9 for the Bobcats. And the Hilltoppers took the lead in the tumbling heat, 7.55 for West Liberty and a 4.6 for Wesleyan. Your score after the first event of the evening, West Liberty 34.25, West Virginia Wesleyan 31.2. So do you think that was the score that Kelsey was shooting for heat number 1 or event number 1?
I would think so. Kelsey's the kind of person that she just wants to stay ahead the whole time. So if we keep this up, it's going to be very good.
Yeah, she doesn't care if she wins 1-0 or 199.
Nope. So those last 2 heats really got the West Liberty girls up there.
Yes. Weslyan now on the mat for their 6-element heat. Kiara, what do you think?
I thought it was very good. Wesleyan didn't bobble, or their feet were very together on all of their landings as well.
So, and as we wait for the Hilltoppers here, we'll talk a little bit about Kelsey Cow, who's the acrobatics and tumbling coach at West Liberty, came in 3 years ago. She's a former MEC Specialist of the Year 2019 at Fairmont State, and came into West Liberty and basically just hit the ground running. Back-to-back MEC runner-up finishes, both times losing out in a very close championship match to a top 10 ranked Fairmont State squad, the alma mater, which made it rub in a little bit even more, but came back this year for a third season. Strong recruiting class, big nucleus of returning student athletes, and I think she was pretty happy to be picked number one in the coaches poll in the preseason, especially by just 1 point over her alma mater, Fairmont State. And also, which gaining a little national acclaim, West Liberty was ranked number 11 nationally in the NCATA coaches poll, which is pretty nice for a program that's only been around for 3 or 4 years. So, and here come the Hilltoppers onto the mat. Who do we have out there, Carol?
We have Teresa Evangelista, Lindsay Fries, Sydney Schumacher, and Claudia Callahan.
That takes an incredible amount of strength, doesn't it?
Yes.
What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was really good. The landings, their feet were together, and Teresa made sure to hold the extended handstand. She has to make sure she holds it 3 seconds, as well as the pike through. She has to hold that for 3 seconds before the off, which she got both of those.
That's awesome. So we're through the first 2 heats of the acro event. Waiting now for the start of the 7-element heat. Weslyan will be first on the mat. And again, getting back to the sorry, I was getting a message there. Okay, we're going to step aside now and take a very quick break. You're listening to the Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network.
So for the acro event, they actually only have 45 seconds to do all these skills, and if they don't get the 45 seconds, they get a red flag, and that is automatically 1 point deducted off their final score.
So, has anybody really come close to that yet, though? Usually, I'm going to assume the coach has built in a pretty good buffer.
There was one time, I believe, my freshman year. Oh.
Okay, and that completes Wesleyan's 7-element heat in the acro event. And as we wait for West Liberty to take the mat and conclude our second event of the evening, talk about the significance of the counter in these events, because I think people that just, are casual onlookers or maybe haven't seen them much says, well, gee, I think I could do that.
So the counter is actually very important in these events. So they make sure that they have their hand up for the 1, 2, 3 to make sure the judges really understand and see that they are holding that position for 3 seconds, because that is very, very important within the acro event.
You don't get any fast counts, do you?
No, it has to go very slow. 1, 2, 3. So it's like one Mississippi and like stuff like that.
And still waiting for the Hilltoppers to come out. And who do we have for West Liberty in this 7-element heat?
So we have Abby Bauer, Abby Horvath, Kinsey Kyle, and then our counter for this one is Avery Ray.
Okay, do you know what they will be trying to perform? What particular?
Yes, so Abby Bauer will do a 180 up to Abby Horvath's shoulders. She will then do a 180 around and then lay up off. Abby will then throw Abby in a toss to hands. She will do a tuck off, and then Kinsey and Abby will then hold Abby in an inversion. A lot of Abby's going on in this one. See if you see Avery down there. She's got her hands up.
Very demonstrative with that. I like it.
Yep. That was a very good acro for the West Lib team.
Yeah, I think our Hilltoppers are showing a propensity for finishing strong in these events.
The school record is a 9.85, and this 7-element is actually scored as a 9.9, so that's very close.
Wow. So, okay, well, while we're waiting for the judges to compile the scores, we'll step aside for these messages. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we're back with West Virginia Wesleyan on the mat for the start of the pyramid event. They're starting with the inverted pyramid. We did get the scores during that brief break, and we'll be giving them to you as soon as Wesleyan completes their routine. Okay, the pyramid event has 3 different heats with different requirements for each heat. Once again, the start value of each heat's determined by the degree of difficulty with particular focus on the entry, structure, and dismount. And now, Kiara, I think you have the scores for us?
Yes. For the 5-element, West Liberty scored 9.15 and Wesleyan scored 8.95. 6-element, West Liberty 9.25 and Wesleyan 9.4. 7-element, West Liberty 9.2 and Wesleyan 7.4. That puts our totals for the acro element, the acro heat, as West Liberty with 27.6 and Wesleyan with 25.75. And our running total so far, West Liberty 61.85 and Wesleyan 56.95.
Okay, so we've won the first 2 events and a 5-point lead coming into the third one. Off to a good start, right?
Yes. For our inversion pyramid, we're scored at a 10, the score, but our school record is 9.95. And for this heat, the top must be in an inverted position. Our top is Teresa Evangelista, and our mids are Sydney Schumacher and Lindsay Fries. And Teresa will perform a handstand and pike down press, which is the same as it was in element 6.
Where did you get that?
Next to start down to 10.
What do you think, Savannah?
That was not the best one I have seen. Teresa did not hold the handstand for 3 seconds, so that's going to be a big deduction for Westlip right there.
Yeah, I think I noticed that Wesleyan struggled to hold it for 3 seconds as well. And again, just as a layman, that looks like that would be a very hard thing to do anyway.
Yep.
So we are waiting for the judges to compile the scores from the first heat, and we'll step aside for a brief message. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And the Bobcats take the mat for the synchronized pyramid heat. Again, they've challenged themselves, a start value of 10. Quick impressions?
Very strong all the way around. It's definitely my impression. Everything was clean. They were together.
Held it for the required time.
And this is definitely a harder version of the compulsory pyramids. Because you got the girl on the bottom on a back bend, so you definitely got to be careful with that one because you don't want anyone to come down on her.
Good point. So that brings West Liberty will be next up on the mat with their synchronized pyramid. Who do we have on that group for the Hilltoppers?
We have our tops are Claudia Callahan and Maddie Eastup. Our mids are Kinsey Kyle and Sarah Lee. And then our backbends are Angelina Cruz America and Lacey Crow.
Again, a lot of veterans on that lineup. And as always, with Kelsey Counts Hilltoppers, we have a start value of 10. And West Liberty is on the mat. A little bit of a bobble there. But again, and you guys are competitors. I mean, how frustrating is it? You know, you've been working on this in practice, you know, since September, and you nail it in practice, and you're psyched up, and you're ready to go, and you've been waiting for this meet, and you get out there, and some least little thing goes wrong, and it doesn't go exactly the way you feel, but you only get one shot at it.
It is very frustrating, especially after working months and months. Early morning cardio, no one wants to get up at 8 in the morning and run dawn. And then you got the early morning lifting. It's very difficult to come out and perform it at a meet and then it not go as well as you planned. I say the girls are probably not happy with themselves with this one, but they got to keep their heads up and just keep moving on.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for the judges to compile those scores from the synchronized pyramid heat, we'll step aside for another brief message. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we welcome you back inside the ASRC on the campus of West Liberty University. We are approaching the midway point of tonight's action. West Virginia Wesleyan currently on the mat for the open pyramid heat, which is the last heat of the first half. they seem pretty happy with that one.
Yes, that was done very well. It's very hard to have someone your size on top of you with just yourself holding them up, basically. But they did very well executing that pyramid, and I think it'll score very well as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how much the top weighs there, but that's basically, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but if she weighs 120 pounds, that's a 120-pound military press.
Yes.
That wiggles.
Yes.
So, very impressive. So, next up for the Hilltoppers,
we have our top Maddie Epstep, mid Kenzie Kyle, back bend Chloe Palmer, tossers Abby Horvath and Paige McLaughlin, and our catcher Kylan Park.
Okay, well, I think West Virginia Wesleyan set the bar fairly high with their heat. Let's see what the Hilltoppers can answer with. Pretty good answer?
Yes, that was pretty good.
All right, well, hey, that wraps up the pyramid event, and it closes out our first half. So we'll take another break, give the judges a chance to wrap up their scoring, but we'll be right back with the pyramid event totals and your halftime score. You're watching Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. Well, welcome you back inside the ASOC for tonight's Acrobatics and Tumbling meet between West Liberty and West Virginia Wesleyan. It's halftime on the Hilltop, with the Hilltoppers holding a slim 85.75 to 84.6 lead over the Bobcats. Savannah, what were your thoughts from the first half?
My thoughts on the first half were pretty good. Everything was very well executed except for maybe a couple of the pyramids in that last event. But other than that, everything's been going well. Both teams are doing very well. It's definitely going to be a close score tonight, that's for sure.
And we begin with our fourth event of the evening, the toss event. West Virginia Wesleyan on the mat for the 450 salto. Well, and again, they seem happy about that. Quick question, does the height on the toss matter? Does that enter into it?
It depends, but I say it does matter because depending on the skill that the top is doing, you think that you want a lot more height to be able to compete that. So I believe she just did a back double, which is very difficult these days. So for that, you definitely need a lot of height.
Okay, and we are now waiting for the Hilltoppers to come out, and the 450 salto. Do either of you guys have any idea what a salto is?
I have no idea. Do you have any idea what a salto is? Kiera does not know either.
Oh, just a really cool name for an acrobatics and tumbling heat. Okay, we'll look that up. So still waiting for the judges to work through their scores for Wesleyan's first heat of the second half.
Say West Lib start value is a 9.4. School record is an 8.95. We have Marina Scalia, Chloe Palmer, Angelina Cruz America, Abby Horvath, and then Paige McLaughlin again.
What'd you think?
That was very good. No one moved any steps. They caught very high. I say that was a very good toss.
Yeah, I just noticed with the lower start value and the school record in the 8s, and obviously the same for Wesleyan. Is that an indication of how difficult this particular heat is?
Yes. So the judges are very particular on steps, how the catches are caught. Everything, it just goes all into one. So if something messes up, like even just a tiny bit of step, that's a deduction.
Okay, well, we're waiting now for the next heat, which will be the synchronized toss. But while we're waiting, let's step aside for a quick message. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. For heat number 2, the synchronized toss. Okay, and what are the judges looking for particularly out of that event?
In this event, the judges look for synchronization, height, meaning how high the toss is thrown, no movement in the catches or while they're loading the top onto their hands, and tight catches.
Okay. So how difficult is it to get the timing down for something like this?
The timing's pretty difficult because you have to time, for the 4 bases, they have to be timed together as well as the flyer too. So if the timing's off between any of those, if it's between the bases, the flyer can go, instead of coming like straight up and coming straight back down, she could go to the side or even go back, and then that would cause the bases to have to move, which would cause deductions. Yes. And then the flyer, they tell us to stay in a tube, meaning like if you throw your head back, like your toss is going to go backwards. So you have to, it's very meticulous learning how to make sure that you don't move so that you have no deductions and you do it basically perfect each time.
So there's some, okay, well here we go with West Liberty. Coming out for their synchronized toss. Looked pretty solid. What do you think?
Yes, I think those were very good. They both looked in sync, and although the height difference between Marina and Jill is different, they both went up the same height, which is very good.
Okay. And kind of getting back to what we were talking to earlier, are there certain activities or sports at the high school level that translate really well with the skill set into an acrobatics and tumbling at the college level?
Well, our team is made up of cheerleaders and gymnasts. So as like in different events we do have one acrobat on the team this year, Chloe Palmer. She's a freshman. She actually did acrobatics coming into the team, but the most of our team is either gymnasts or cheerleaders, which both are an essential part. And the acrobatics and tumbling itself kind of blends the sport together because you have the scoring, which is similar to how gymnasts are scored, and then you have some parts where the tosses, that's kind of like a cheerleader's toss and their all-star cheering.
Awesome. So, okay, this concludes the toss event for West Virginia Wesleyan, and this is the open toss heat. Okay, just going by the name of the event, I'm assuming that that's something that you would want to pick out a skill that you can really execute.
Yes. At
a high level, and it appeared they pulled it off pretty well.
Yes, I agree. West Liberty actually is going to do the same toss, but we have Teresa Evangelista as our flyer, or top, and then Anna Snodderly, Katie Amborski, Tiana Meyer, and Lindsay Freese as our 4 bases.
Okay. All right, and we'll get into this as the second half goes along, but start with you, Kiara, since you have one of our 2 working headphones. Did you play any other sports growing up, or were you focused on like dance, tumbling, whatever from the start?
I grew up cheering. I cheered, but I also, one day I randomly decided that I wanted to play basketball. So I played basketball, and I grew up playing softball and running track too. But cheering was one of the sports that I really excelled in, and it was like my favorite sport throughout high school. So when I got toward, when I was old enough to decide what I wanted to do during the college level, I still wanted to keep up with sports, but I wanted to do something different than cheering. And Treasure Fields was the coach when she recruited my graduating class. So she reached out to me and the other girls in my graduating class and recruited us and brought us in for practice and kind of showed us what the sport was. And we were like, yeah, we'll do that. That looks fun.
Oh, awesome. So, and here are the Hilltoppers to wrap up the fourth event of the evening. Appeared to be pretty well executed.
Yep, there was a little bit of movement at the very end, but hopefully that's not a lot of deductions.
Boy, you're picky. When you grow up, do you want to be a judge?
I think I would be very well.
Yeah. No, you have a really good eye for that stuff. That's good.
I notice a lot of things. I tell my roommate that all the time.
Yeah, my wife does too. But okay, well, while the judges are compiling the scores for the toss event, we will step aside. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we welcome you back inside the ASRC on the campus of West Liberty University. Scores are in for the toss event, and we have got a barn burner for West Liberty in the first toss heat. 8.6, West Virginia Wesleyan 8.95. Heat number 2, West Liberty 7.75, Wesleyan 8.3. Heat 3, West Liberty 8.1, Wesleyan 8.4. Final score for that toss event, Wesleyan won it 25.65 to 24.25. Listen to this score. If you talk about a close match, your score through 4 events, West Virginia Wesleyan 110.25, West Liberty 110.20. Savannah, you can't get any closer than that.
No, you cannot.
So that takes us to our 5th event of the evening, which is the tumbling event. All right. And we'll start with the duo pass for West Virginia Wesleyan. There are 6 heats in the tumbling event, and this, not surprisingly, is where a lot of acrobatics and tumbling matches are decided. And the Bobcat duo is on the mat ready for their pass.
Participating in the duo pass, the other 2 duo game.
Well, what do you think, Savannah?
I think that was very well executed, except for just a little unsynchronization, but then it got synchronized at the very end. So that's very shocking.
Okay, and I was going to ask at the end where they kind of ran it out. Are they trying to stick that landing, or are they trying to make it look like we meant to do that?
Sometimes it depends on the girls. I know a lot of girls try to run and then stick it, and then most our team, a lot of them they stick it at the very end. So I think it depends on the team and the girls.
Okay, so who do we have up for the Hilltoppers in their duo pass?
So for the Hilltoppers, we have Jillian Hertz and then Elle Golby. And this was at 8.8, and the school record is actually 8.8 as well.
Okay, we're still waiting for the judges to compile the scores for Wesleyan in the duo pass. This is the first of 6 tumbling heats in the 5th event of the evening. Okay, and again, what are the judges looking for on this?
The judges are looking for synchronization, how well they go together, and then how well they end. And for the West Lib team, they started off unsynchronized, just like Wesleyan, and then at the very end, they actually ended up synchronized again.
Okay, and just to follow up with Savannah here, Savannah, when you were coming up through the ranks through high school and junior high and everything, were you strictly, were you cheerleader, tumbler, dance? What got you going when you were younger?
Cheerleading. Cheerleading was my main sport, and then once I got into middle school, our 6th grade, at first you couldn't cheer, so you had to do something else. So I did track. So then I got into track, so I did mostly cheerleading track all 4 years of high school. And unlike Kira, I didn't get recruited by Treasure. I got an email one day and said, if you're a cheerleader, would you like to join this team? And I signed up, and then here I am.
Now, when you were in track, what events did you do in track?
I did hurdles. And normally people wouldn't think that because I'm so short.
Any of that carry over into acrobatics and tumbling? That requires some athleticism.
Yes, I think a lot of my background carried into acrobatics and tumbling because you have the running portion and then you have all the lifting, and I think cheerleading really helped with a lot of that stuff, though.
And this is West Virginia Wesleyan on the mat for their trio pass. Well executed by the Bobcats. And again, this is the second heat of 6 heats in the tumbling event. We started out with the duo pass with 2 athletes. The trio pass, as you might expect, which we just saw, has 3 athletes. follow up with the quad pass with 4 athletes, and as we go along, this becomes more and more involved. There's an aerial pass, then there's a 6-element pass, and then we conclude with the open pass. So it's a fairly lengthy event, but it often creates separation between the two teams in the match. So who do we have coming up for the Hilltoppers here?
Coming up for the Hilltoppers, we have Marina Scalia, Teresa Evangelista, and Avery Ray. And this is scored as a 9.1, and the school record is an 8.1.
So, again, it sounds like the judges are being a little finicky.
I would say so.
But I guess you have to be, and even though the Olympics are going on now, and there's always the controversy with the judging in the Olympics, it's not an easy thing. And in a sport like this with so many technical requirements, and we're talking about hand position, foot position, head, so many things to watch. And how many judges are there?
There are 3 judges, and each judge has 3 mats that they mostly look after. So the first 3 mats, the first judge will look, and then the second judge will look at the middle mats, and then the third judge will look at the other side of the 3 mats. So everything is looked at very well.
Oh, okay. So the strips, so they're not,
yes.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I would not have thought that to do that, but I can see the sense in that.
It comes in handy, I think, in team event.
I can. Yeah, because the first time I saw a team event, it just reminded me of somebody dropping a flower pot out of a 3rd-floor window. There was just action everywhere. So, and here we go with the Hilltoppers. Trio pass. And also important, among other things, just to keep everything on the mat. You don't want to go off the mat. I'm sure that's a deduction. And what were your thoughts on that event?
That was very well executed, I think. It was very well synchronized. There's not a lot of steps, so I hope that one gets scored very well.
Okay, well, we're waiting for Wesleyan to start the quad pass. And we have Kiera back with us. And Kiera, one thing we haven't talked about is when you're a member of an acrobatics and tumbling team, do you practice every event or do you specialize?
Especially with COVID, Kelsey likes to have as many options as possible because we're not sure if someone were to get COVID during the season. She wants to make sure we have people to take in those spots. So if you're a top, you work with every single base. Like there would be practices last semester where we would hit, we have the bases lined up, and then every single top has to go around and try to do a toss the hands on every single base just so we have a lot of options in case something were to happen.
Ooh.
Yes, and so we could try different stuff at meets too. So throughout the season, we want to try to have different pyramids and different tosses throughout different meets. So that we can try our best to have some nationally qualified events and bring as many people with us as we can.
There you go. And there goes Wesleyan on the quad pass. Now again, they all seem to land at the same time, but we have one girl that wasn't perfectly lined up. That doesn't matter. It's timing as opposed to spacing, correct? So, well, I'm learning. Another 10 years or so, I may actually figure out what's going on with this sport.
It is a very difficult sport to understand, catch on to, because the start values, that confused me the most because I would think everything's a 10 because why not? But yes.
Well, it's just so impressive talking to the head coach of Baylor, Fee Mulkey, who basically invented this sport. And Coach Allum and I worked closely with her when we were investigating, do we want to add this to West Liberty's roster, and she is such a good saleswoman. She's so positive, and she's so smart in terms of anticipating things and stuff. And to see that she's developed this scoring system and everything like that, I mean, that didn't happen overnight.
Definitely took a lot of work for her to have to do that.
Okay, now our Hilltoppers are up on the mat. Who do we have here, ladies?
We have Paige McLaughlin, Lexus Ficca, Abby Horvath, and Tiana Meyer.
So you want to hear a boom, boom, boom,
yes.
Not like a drum roll, right?
Yes, that's exactly what you want to hear. That was very well done, and their synchronization was really good, so they should be getting a very well score on this. And number 3, actually, Abby Horvath, she's been seen throughout the meet a lot. She's a freshman, and she's a very, very well, like a very outstanding member on our team because she came in and she's a great base. She tumbles. She could, like, if you tell her to do something, she will do it until she does it perfectly. So she's
the versatility and stuff that this sport requires is just really off the charts. Mm-hmm. And especially, as you alluded to, which I hadn't thought about in the COVID era, where all of a sudden you don't have a top.
Yes. Which last year we had a few members of our team test positive for COVID near MEC. Mm-hmm. So we had one girl completely miss it, and then we had some come back right before. 2 missed it, actually, yes. So that was very hard on our team, but luckily we had enough time to fix everything and still manage to compete against Fairmont and the others.
Yes. West Virginia Wesleyan with the aerial pass. So what do you think of that one, Kiara?
I thought it was really good, and I see the team was very excited too, so they must have also thought that was very good. She landed her pass. It didn't look like, for this, it's not really as hard because you don't have to worry about synchronization, but it's very hard because it's such a difficult pass that they all have to do. So I think it looked very good, though.
Yeah. Now we'll have Teresa still doing ours.
For aerial pass, we actually have Marina Scalia.
Is Marina?
Yes.
Okay.
Teresa does our 6-element pass, which is the next one.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes. Okay. So, and I don't remember. Is this the event that Marina won at the MECs?
Yes.
I thought it was. That's because I remember seeing that. I didn't get to go, but I was able to watch it online. And I just thought, gee, that looks like a winner.
Yes.
So.
She's like a little twisting tornado. She makes it look so effortless, too.
And ladies and gentlemen, Marina Scalia. Don't you love it when you build somebody up and they go out and nail it? Very well done for Marina. Congratulations from the team. You guys seem to be a pretty together group. Yes.
I think the tumbling part of the meet always seems to have everyone the most excited and wound up, really excited to move on to team routine, and they just love cheering for each other, especially in the individual passes. You hear a lot of barking. It's something with barking. In the last celebration, you hear a little bit of screaming, but mainly barking.
Okay, well, we'll take a little break right now. You're listening to Hilltopper Acrobatics and Tumbling on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we're back with the Bobcats in a 6-element pass. Okay, now willingly expose my ignorance one more time here, Savannah. Now, she seemed to execute everything pretty well, but she seemed to be going a lot slower than the person before her. Does that have any impact at all on the scoring?
No, I think the scoring is just how well she does it and how well it goes. And for me, that went very well. She is actually did the same pass that Teresa is going to perform for us here in a second.
And Teresa is kind of a veteran. I think this is the third year she's been performing this.
This is her last and final year. She is a senior.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
See, I thought my grandkids made me feel old.
She likes to say she's old all the time at practice. I'm like, Teresa, you're maybe 22. You're fine.
Yeah, really.
So her body definitely aches after some of this stuff, but she keeps pushing, and we enjoy that.
Well, again, and we've already seen evidence of her strength.
Yes.
You know, in the pyramid with the. Also, still waiting for the judges to finish the scoring. We are midway through the 6-element pass. Teresa Evangelista up next for the Hilltoppers. Okay, I'm going to guess when the color commentator stands up and applauds that was pretty good.
I would say so, too. I didn't even see that.
That was you.
Oh.
No, but that was really good. What did you think technically, if you could take us through that?
Technically, I think everything went very well. She executed her front handspring perfectly, her front tuck step out, and then she had a round off and two back handsprings and a full, and she didn't step off the mat, she didn't fall down, so I think it went very well.
Yeah, because that is one of the things that she's run into in the past, is she has so many elements involved in that she does tend to get pretty close to the edge.
There was one meet, I think last year, Marina actually landed on her head in a cartwheel, and we have a picture of it. It's very funny.
Now.
She didn't even notice until we showed her. She goes, oh my gosh.
All right, we are in the final heat of the tumbling event. It's the open pass. West Virginia Wesleyan on the mat. So, good pass, maybe a little over rotation at the end.
Maybe.
But she disguised it pretty well.
I say disguising it and tumbling would probably be a hard thing to do, but some girls do it very easily.
Well, they always say the sign of a good carpenter is how well he hides his mistakes, so. But again, just to repeat how impressed I am with what we've seen from West Virginia Wesleyan tonight. Obviously a program on the rise in a conference that is on the rise in a growing sport of acrobatics and tumbling. So, do you guys feel like pioneers?
I don't know. We might.
Okay, and here come the Hilltoppers.
Now, Avery is actually a freshman this year on the team.
A little bit of a bobble at the end, but good execution midway through. What happened at the end, do you think?
I say she might have came out of it a little too soon and then stepped forward a little too fast, so she pulled herself forward and that made her go off the mat a little bit, but I think maybe it was so late that it wouldn't be added, but who am I to know?
So a deduction, but not a huge deduction.
Correct.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that that wraps us up with the open pass, and it also concludes our fifth event of the evening, which is tumbling. The judges are in the process of filling out their score sheet right now, so we'll take a break, and we'll be back in a few here on the Mountain East Conference Digital Network. And we're back with scores from Heat 5, the tumbling, from event number 5, the tumbling event. It's still incredibly tight. In the heat, in the first heat, West Virginia Wesleyan 7.7, West Liberty 6.9. Heat number 2, Wesleyan 6.45, West Liberty 7.75. Heat 3, Wesleyan 7.1, West Liberty 7.3. Heat 4, Wesleyan 9.175. The Hilltoppers 9.075. The fifth heat, the Bobcats 7.925. West Liberty 8.3. Heat number 6, West Virginia Wesleyan 8.6. West Liberty 8.075. The score for the tumbling heat, West Liberty 47.4. They take the heat. Wesleyan 46.95. Your running scores heading in to the final event of the evening, the team event. Number 11, West Liberty, 157.6. West Virginia Wesleyan, 157.2. Team event's going to decide it, ladies. Kira, what are some things to look for in the team event?
So in team event, we usually have a sync acro, which 4 of them have to be in sync. So some people do inversions or toss the hands, and then you have to have 2 sync pyramids, which could be any pyramids of your choice. And there's a lot of tumbling. I think 12, I could be wrong, but so many of them have to be sync tumbling passes, including running and standing as well.
There you go, folks. It looks like mass chaos, but the choreography is amazing. West Virginia Wesleyan in team event. Okay, and Kiara, if you see anything as this event progresses, if you want to point it out, feel free.
Okay.
West Virginia Wesleyan with the team event. Congratulations, Bobcats. Well done. Kiara, what did you see from them?
I thought that they did their team event really well. There were some mistakes and bobbles here and there, but you can't do it perfect every time. It's very common, and I know I've seen a lot before, so I think they're going to score pretty well, hopefully with how the judges have been scoring throughout the meet.
Yeah, I think I heard that dog you were talking about again.
Yes. For West Liberty, our team event start value is actually 101.76.
Okay. And I missed, what was Wesleyan's?
I think it was around the same, but I didn't.
Yeah, I couldn't catch it either. The judges are working through the scoring on Wesleyan's team event. Once they get through that, we will have West Liberty coming on the mat with a 2-minute and 45-second routine. How long does that 2 minute and 45 seconds feel like when you're out on the mat?
There are some days at practice where it feels like it's not 2 minutes 45 seconds. It feels like it's just forever. But then when you're at the meet and everyone's watching, and you just get so excited that the music starts and the next thing it's over. You don't really.
Yeah, because I was watching Weslyan. I was really impressed that they came down and it was Bobcats right as the clock hit 0.
Everyone gets very excited, and you see a lot with teams cheering each other on, really trying to encourage them and basically hype them up for their team event, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, and that's something else that I've noticed about this sport is teams are really supportive of each other. I mean,
yes.
I haven't heard of a bench clearing brawl yet in an acrobatics and tumbling match.
No, I have not heard of that either before. But I think team event is really where the teams support each other the most, just because it's such an exciting part, because everyone's team routine can be very different as long as you have the main parts that the judges need in the team event.
Well, and I would think that the preparation for the team event has to be as grueling as just about anything, so it's sort of like shared experiences and such. Still waiting for the judges to finish totaling up the score for Weslyan, and once we get the go-ahead from the judges, then we'll have West Liberty's team event, which will bring tonight's match to a close. And again, coming into the team event incredibly close, West Liberty leading 157.6 to 157.2. It's almost certainly whoever wins this event wins the match. Savannah, is it challenging to be standing on the side of the mat? You've already seen the other team do their team routine. Now you're waiting to do yours. And what's going through your mind at this point?
A lot of things. I would say they're probably thinking about executing as well as they possibly could. Thinking about how their team just competed, and you're standing there for so long too, so you're just all your nerves just keeps building up.
Does that affect your performance at all? I mean, you're just standing there, and all of a sudden you go from basically 0 to 60 in 0.3 seconds.
I don't think it affects the performance at all. I think that adrenaline really comes out a lot in team event, and I think that really helps our team. So, but yeah, the time for waiting seems like it takes forever.
And now we are getting ready for West Liberty and the team event. Your Hilltoppers going for the win. And the West Liberty Hilltoppers wrap up the team event and bring down the curtain on tonight's match. First impressions from the team event, girls.
My first impression of this team event was there were some bobbles, but other than that, it was very well executed. There was a touch on the floor off the mat, so that might be a big deduction, but
And we welcome you back to the ASRC on the campus of West Liberty University. This is Don Clegg, joined by West Liberty student athletes Savannah Smith and Kiara Smith. We are just now seeing the scores populate on the scoreboard, the final scores for tonight's meet. And once again, an incredibly close match. Came all the way down to the team event. And the Hilltoppers took a narrow 157.6 to 157.2 lead into that team event. And both teams had good moments and bad moments during the team events. And here come the scores. West Virginia Wesleyan, 76.85 in the team event. Total score 234.05. For West Liberty in the team event, 77.85. Final score 235.45. Your Hilltoppers survived the upset bid from a very talented West Virginia Wesleyan team. Once again, your final score, West Liberty 235.45, West Virginia Wesleyan 234.05.